I'm Hannah Walter, Executive Director of CALIBA, the California Independent Booksellers Alliance. It is my pleasure to welcome you all here tonight. We have a mix of booksellers, authors, and readers from across the country in attendance, so I'm going to tell you all a little bit about CALIBA and the Golden Poppy Awards. CALIBA is a regional trade organization for California independent booksellers whose mission is to promote the vitality, diversity, and prosperity of independent bookselling as essential to the life of our communities. The Golden Poppy Awards were created in 2020 with the goal of elevating California voices and recognizing Californian voices and recognizing the unique and diverse talents within our state. Each committee is made up of booksellers throughout California and tasked with developing a final ballot that is voted upon by CALIBA's bookstore members and their employees. We'll put the link to our Golden Poppy history page in the chat so you can learn more about it and browse past winners and finalists. This year, we had a record number of books submitted, so we owe a big thank you to our committee members for their hard work. Some of them will be presenting tonight, and I'm sure others are here watching. Say hello in the chat, and thank you for all your hard work. The CALIBA staff also wants to say thank you to Summer Laurie, the 2025 Golden Poppy Awards chair, who is not able to join us tonight. She will be passing on the torch to Grace Lane from Linden Tree Books and Claire Bone, owner of Wild Sisters Book Company, for 2026. We greatly appreciate Summer's years of service and leadership. All right. I think most of our attendees are here, so it's time to get the show started. It is my pleasure to welcome our special guests and hosts for the night, award-winning authors Rex Ogle and CJ Leede. Both are former Golden Poppy Award winners themselves. Rex's book, Road Home, won the 2024 Children's Nonfiction Award, and CJ's Mayfly won the 2023 Octavia E. Butler Award. We'll pop their bios in the chat and their links so you can learn more about them. Rex, CJ, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'll pass it on to you. All right. Rex, hopefully Rex
It,
is here.
it won't let me
I
open my
hear.
video. It says it's been disabled.
Oh, we'll get you back on. That's
Oh,
all, Valentina. There you go.
yay, there I am. Howdy,
Nothing
folks.
like a little, yeah, nothing like a little tech check. Tech
Thank you,
issues. Well, thank
Hannah.
you so much.
Howdy, everyone. Good to see your names. I don't see all your faces yet. Welcome, indie bookstore lovers, booksellers, publishers, friends, creatives, all of y'all to the 2025 Golden Poppy Awards. I'm super stoked to be here, not only as a reader or a writer, but as someone who is constantly harassing the people at Skylight Books here in Los Angeles with pre-orders. Last year I discovered that library editions of my favorite graphic novels come in these like massive oversized hardcovers that are not only, beautiful on my bookshelves, but they feel so cinematic when I read them. It feels like being in the movies. So yeah, and if I can support my local indies while feeding my very real book addiction, even better. CJ, I'll pass it off to you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. When I moved to Los Angeles from New York years ago, I was under the very mistaken impression that people in LA don't read. Instantly, I saw the error of my ways. Not only does LA County alone have over 60 independent bookstores, but what really blew me away was witnessing the wholehearted and frankly, like quite personal devotion to these stores by their readers, booksellers, and surrounding communities. I have had the absolute privilege of getting to know many of you through CALIBA events and traveling throughout California to as many bookstores as I can. Still have many to go. You will all continue to inspire me and all of us by creating and maintaining vital spaces of learning, openness, and community in times when we need them most. California and its readers are resilient and powerful, and I am so honored to get to celebrate California creators who exemplify all of that tonight with all of you.
Oh, she sounded much more eloquent than I.
No way.
Anyways, to give you an overview of our evening together, we will introduce each category and the chair of said category. The committee chair will share the finalist and announce the Golden Poppy winner. And then the winner will come on screen to accept their award and answer a question posed by the committee chair. Conversations with the authors will be fairly brief. We have a lot of books and creators to celebrate tonight. However, the CALIBA office will be pasting links in the chat where you can find out more about tonight's winners.
We are also including links to purchase the winning titles on bookshop.org, where you can support your favorite independent bookstore. We've got 14 categories to cover, so let's get this party started. First up, we have fiction. Please welcome Brad Bryant of Green Apple Books as he reads off the finalists.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to CJ. Thank you to Rex. Thank you to the CALIBA team. I just want to start off by giving special thanks to my fellow fiction committee members this year, who would be Julie Slavinsky from Warwick's Books, Terry Gilman from Creating Conversations, Susan Tunis from Bookshop West Portal, Katie Smith Cook from Copperfields, Robin Broderick from The Reading Bug, and Ollie Mendez from Skylight Books. We had to read a ton of books, and I am so grateful for them to be committee members with me. Without further ado, the nominees for fiction are Big Chief by John Hickey, Harriet Tubman live in concert by Bob the Drag Queen, My Name is Amelia Del Valle by Isabel Allende, Other People's Kids by Kim Culbertson, and Too Soon by Betty Shamia. And the Golden Poppy Award for fiction goes to Harriet Tubman live in concert by Bob the Drag Queen. Congratulations, Bob. Now please join me in watching a special message from Bob the Drag Queen. Thank you.
Oh my God, I have won CALIBA's 2025 Golden Poppy Fiction Award. First of all, I'm super honored. This is literally my first time ever writing a book. Big shout out to John Hickey, Kim Culbertson, Betty Shamia, and Isabel Allende, who are my fellow nominees. It means a ton to me that you guys actually like my book, that you are, and this is actually voted on by the sellers, which means a lot to me. These are people who are looking at books all day, selling books all day. The fact that y'all still buy my book means literally there's a paperback version now. I don't have a paperback. I need to go get a paperback version. I'm gonna get a paperback version myself. You can get it wherever you buy your books, at your local bookstore. You can get it online. You can go to readthedragqueen.com to get your own version of the book. Audiobook. It was called one of iTunes' best audiobooks of the year, Apple's best audiobooks of the year. I recorded it myself, and I'm genuinely grateful to everyone who took the time to either listen to, read, or just purchase my book. If this is sitting on your shelf, if this is in your Spotify playlist, if this is in your iTunes, if this is in your phone, anywhere, if this is crumbled up in the backseat of your Jeep Wrangler, I'm grateful. Thank you all so much.
All right. Thank you, Brad, and congratulations to Bob the Drag Queen. I wish I could pull off a hat like that. I can't. Next up, the picture book category. Please give a digital applause for Drew Durham of Books, Inc.
Thanks, Rex. Thanks, everybody. Can't believe there's over 110 people on this call. That's amazing. Um, really, anyway, I'll just talk. I could go on forever, but I'll talk first about the committee members. Of course, myself as the chair for some reason. Cindy Whittemore of Expel Books, big fan. Cinda Meister, Colleen Cadiz of Books Inc. Katie Smith Cook of Copperfield in Harrodsburg. Rachel Espinada of Peninsula Books, and Julie Carson of Roman's Bookstore. You all did a lot more work than me, and I got the credit for being the chair. So thank you all so much for putting up with that. Now to the five nominees. Finalists. Five. There were over 60 nominees, and we went down to five, and we got to one. Don't Trust Fish by Neil Sharpson, illustrated by Dan Santat from Dial Books. Elsa's Chexboard by Jenny Andrews, illustrated by Julie Downing from Neil Porter Books. Let's Be Bees by Sam Harris from Neil Porter Books. Popo the Yolo by Paloma and Angelina Lopez, illustrated by Abraham Martias from Charles Bridge Publishers. And Weedle, A Little Wagon with a Big Heart from Cindy Derby, published by Roaring Book Press. And the Golden Poppy Award goes to, the picture book comes to Don't Trust Fish by Neil Sharpson and illustrated by the legendary Dan Santat.
Legendary. Oh, thank you so much.
and mostly trustworthy. I love
Mostly
the
trustworthy.
title.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Big fan. There's so much to ask, but I will nail it down to the one that I already put down.
Sure.
Don't Trust Fish is both a brilliantly illustrated and a shared work of comic genius. A fact-filled story with hilarious narration. What was your goal when you started writing the book, illustrating the book, and what is your goal now with the book?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you very much, and congratulations, and thank you for all the nominees as well. When I first got the manuscript from Neil Sharpson, the text was already hilarious. It was so well done, and I was just very fortunate to have it land on my lap. And really, I think it was one part just illustrating the jokes that he had in mind, and then also just having so much fun with the manuscript that I went out of my way to add extra jokes in there that weren't embedded in the text. So my first focus was to try to live up to the beauty of the story. I mean, it was one of those stories that you looked at that you wish that you yourself had written. And so when the book finally came out, I was just very grateful that everyone could see the genius behind Neil's words. And I thank all the independent booksellers out there that were, they were, they were hand selling this book. I do believe you're all wonderful arbiters of tastes, and in a world where there's AI slop and things like that. It's just great to have a community out there of people that curate books and say what's best. Now, what I'm looking forward to in the future of this book is, as we all know, we've seen that study where reading has gone down 40% in the last 20 years, and I'm just hoping that this little picture book can help encourage kids to just find the love of reading and want to encourage more reading. And with your help on finding those great books for all these kids, I think we'll eventually get back to uh, where we want to be. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. Or congratulations, Neil and Dan. That
Thank
was
you.
amazing. I got really swept up. That was actually lovely.
Great.
I also love to see a comment section popping off. Go, everyone. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving on to the nonfiction category, please join me in welcoming Mary Williams of Skylight Books in Los Angeles.
Thank you, CJ. It's my honor to be here to present the Nonfiction Award. First, I'd like to thank the committee members. We read almost 90 books this year, and we brought it down to our favorite 5 to present for the finalists. The committee members were Jennifer Casper from Village Well Books and Coffee, Amanda Cassar from Warwick's, Anthony Bertolini from Bloodstone Books, Jesse Gaska from Cellar Door Books, Ross Rojek from Capital Books, and Sarah Stringer from Gamble House Books. The 2025 Golden Poppy finalists for nonfiction are Dirty Kitchen, a memoir of food and family by Jill Damatak from Atria One Signal Publishers, Poppy State, A Labyrinth of Plants and a Story of Beginnings by Miriam Gerba from Timber Press, Red Flag Warning, Mutual Aid and Survival in California's Fire Country, edited by Danny Burleson and Margaret Alicia Garcia from AK Press, Stitching Freedom, A True Story of Injustice, Defiance, and Hope in Angola Prison by Gary Tyler with Ellen Bravo from Atria One Signal Publishers, and Too Poor to Die, The Hidden Realities of Dying in the Margins by Amy Shea from Rutgers University Press. And the Golden Poppy Award for nonfiction goes to Poppy State, A Labyrinth of Plants and a Story of Beginnings by Miriam Gerba. Miriam, I was a huge fan of this book. The whole committee was. Thank you so much for writing it. And I have a question. Are you on screen? It's just me who doesn't see you.
I'm on
Oh,
screen.
there you are. It was just me who doesn't see you. Sorry.
That's okay.
All right. So my question is, you described this book as a labyrinth, and in addition to memoir and nature writing, it contains photographs, excerpts from old newspaper articles, retellings of historical events, and more. Can you describe the process of crafting this book and honing its format?
Um, yeah. So, when I set out to write a labyrinth or to project a labyrinth onto the page, I really gave myself quite a challenge. So I used like a collaging technique to try to create it, and so that's why it has that sort of multimedia feel. And I had to figure out how to help the reader get a little bit lost. And so getting lost hopefully is part of the fun for the reader. And and part of that was facilitated by putting a cautionary note at the beginning of the text, which suggests to the unadventurous reader that she can turn to the back of the book for an explanation of what she's about to encounter, a map of sorts, or she can be adventurous and just plunge in. And so it opens with that sort of provocation.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Congratulations, Miriam. And yeah, your cover is really good. I like the cover. Please welcome the chair of middle grade category, Jessica Palacios from Once Upon a Time Bookstore to our digital stage. Hi, Jessica. You should be
Hi,
getting a call from my
Rex.
publicist soon. Um,
Oh, good. Um, I was really excited to be the co-chair of the middle grade committee with Amber Reed from Copperfield's Books, Cinda Meister from Booksmart, Susan Peck from Banter Bookshop, Pam Page from Pages, a bookstore, with help from Colleen Cadiz from Books Inc. And we picked 5 finalists, which are Finding Lost by Holly Goldberg Sloan from Rocky Pond Books, A Little Too Haunted by Justine Pusella Winans from Bloomsbury Children's Books, The Peach Thief by Linda Jones Smith from Candlewick, The Queen Bees of Typee County by Kyle Casey Chu from Quill Tree Books, and Spark by Chris Barron from Fywell and Friends. And the Golden Poppy for middle grade books goes to The Queen Bees of Tybee County by Kyle Casey Chu.
Hello.
Yay. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for selecting me and giving me a lot more titles to check out.
Yes, that's always a fun thing about this. So in The Queen Bees of Tybee County, Derek must learn to discover the balance between the different types of love that he has: basketball, family, and drag. How do you balance the different loves in your life?
Oh my God, that's a really good question. So yeah, I think one of my aims in the book was to talk about both and thinking and the idea that, at that age, uh, it's really easy to think black and white. You're either an athlete or you're an artist. You can't be both. But combining those interests is kind of an abstract feat. And so I guess in my adulthood, I tried to combine communities as much as possible, have drag queens in my movies and in my books, and pick their brains and interview them about their tales so I can weave them into the stories I tell. And it's been a very fruitful journey.
And it's shown in the awards that you have also received, not just this one. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much, Jessica.
You're welcome.
Thank you and congratulations. It's amazing to see in the comments the support for each one of these winning books and all of the nominated books. It's such a cool thing. And also for the booksellers who are popping up. This is such a beautiful community. Next up, we have the mystery category. Please welcome Elisa Edwards as she reads our finalists.
Hi. On my committee was Lillian Van Cleve from the Best Bookstore in Union Square, Dave Suter of Pages, a Bookstore, Clara Fauser of Romans, Linda Sherman of Cellar Bookstore, and Chris Gertman of Warwick's. And our final 5 were The Confessions by Paul Bradley Carr by Atria Books, Count My Lies by Sophie Stava of Gallery Scout Press, The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark from Source Books Landmark, A Murder in Zion by Nicole Maggi from Ocean View Publishing, and Proof by John Cowan of Gallery Books. And the Golden Poppy Award for Mystery goes to The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark.
Hello.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Congratulations. And also, I have to say, as a bookseller, I loved being able to hand sell your book with the amazing sprayed edges on it.
I know. Thank you. I love them too.
Those were epic.
Yeah, yeah.
So what was an important detail in this story that made the book really come alive for you as you were writing it?
There were several, but I would say that one of the biggest comments I get from readers is that the town of Ojai in the 70s really comes alive for them, and sort of the present day Ojai and Ojai of the past. And so I spent a lot of time on Zillow looking at real estate in Ojai, which was really fun. But behind me, I have Vincent Taylor's study. This was the room that I found on a Zillow app and thought like that's his study. And so it really helped me to have these rooms and these places. I spent a lot of time on Google Maps, drove up to Ojai, walked around, drove neighborhoods. People probably thought I was casing their house to rob or something, but really what it was just trying to get a feel for the town and get a feel for what it was like, especially back in the 70s. So that was a really fun part of writing the book.
It had amazing sense of place in it. Very California.
Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. And thank you, booksellers.
Woohoo! Thank you, Alyssa, and congratulations, Julie. Y'all are awesome. This is so fun. I know so many of you already from real life, which is crazy. Moving on to the young adult category, please welcome Laura Lee Sugden of Linden Tree Books.
Hi, good evening. Hi, thanks, Rex. I'm so excited to be here. I want to give a shout out to my wonderful committee members, Jessica Hall from Books Inc., Grace Lane from Linden Tree, Angela King from Sausalito Books by the Bay, Ashley Marie Morales Guerrero from Judging by the Cover, Emily Ottenroth, sorry if I mispronounced that, from A Seat at the Table Books, and Amanda Brazil from Rakestraw Books. And so let's get to the finalists. All the Tomorrows After by Joanna Yee, Atheum Books for Young Readers. A Cruel Thirst by Angela Montoya, Joy Revolution. The Education of Kia Greer by Alana Bennett, Knopf Books for Young Readers. Grave Flowers by Autumn Krause, Peachtree Teen. And last but not least, Runaway with Me by Brian Selznick, Scholastic Press. And the Golden Poppy Award for Young Adult title goes to Runaway with Me by Brian Selznick. Yay!
Hi.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Laura.
Oh my goodness. I'm so glad. Can I just say I loved your book. It pulled at my heartstrings. I've read so many of your middle grade books and was excited that you got this wonderful honor.
Oh, thank you.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Please.
Much of your work has been for the middle grade audience that blends illustrations and text. Can you talk about what felt different creatively in writing this young adult book?
Yeah, absolutely. And first, I just want to thank the whole committee for this. I was a bookseller myself, so I know what it means to hand someone a book and see their face light up and have them come back and tell you that they love it, hopefully. And I just wanted to say a quick shout out, hello to everyone at Warwick's, my local bookstore in La Jolla. And it really did feel very different and very similar to making my other books. I'll say my first book, The Houdini Box, came out over 30 years ago, and the kid was 10 in that. And I'm always writing from the point of view of that main character. And then 15 years later, Hugo was about 12 or 13. And then I did a book called The Marvels, where the main character was about 13 or 14. And in Run Away With Me, Angelo and Danny are 16. So I'm very slowly growing up along with my books in certain ways. So writing about these older characters meant writing about issues that I never really had the chance to write about before. And I've had queer characters in my books, like the Marvels, but even the adult love story in that book was told in a way that would be appropriate and mean something to the 12-year-old main character, the 13-year-old main character. So having the characters be 16 meant that I could really dig into and write about love and sex, which I'd never written about before. But I was also writing about finding your place in the world, learning what it means to truly be seen, finding your family. And that's what all my books have always been about in so many ways.
Well, congratulations. Such a beautiful story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura Lee, and congratulations, Brian. There's nothing like that 16-year-old love. Congrats. Please welcome the poetry chair, Matthew Hine of Hay Books in San Diego, as he reads off the finalists for poetry.
Hi, I'm Matthew Hine of Hay Books in San Diego, and we had great, great poetry books, as you would expect from California. We had, well, first, can I say the members of our group? We had John Evans from Camino. We had Irene Dennison from Warwick's. We had Drew Howard from Books Inc. And we had Amanda Q from Warwick's. AQ, I see you in the chat. Love. And then for the nominees, as you see on your beautiful screen, we had For This and Other Cruelties by Una Kwok. We had Girl in a Forest by Elaine Lipkin. Great. Regaining Unconsciousness by Harriet Mullen. Great. Scream Queen by C.D. Eskelson. It was great. We had great books this year. And Witch Walks by Laura Moriarty. These are the nominees. Who won? The winner is For This and Other Cruelties by Una Kwok. I'm so happy and pleased to say so. It was a beautiful book. I'm so happy. So, if I may, I have a little question for my friend, Una. Well, I say my friend, haven't met her, but I really liked this book. Una, so as my mentor, Michelle Glazer, wrote, your brilliant new book offers truncated prose-like paragraphs that explore likeness and difference in relation to race, class, gender, and family. So, given this book's courageous rejection of classic poetic forms and rhyme and other markers of, poetry, unquote, why did you decide to write this as poems instead of prose?
Thank you, Matthew, for your exuberance. That was really wonderful. I appreciate it. I feel like I've spent probably as many hours in bookstores as I've spent sleeping in my life, and it saved my life many times over. So I'm really grateful and moved to get this award. And that's such a great question. And it's lovely to invoke Michelle Glazer tonight, reigning queen of the poetic world. Yeah, so I appreciate that. I guess I would say that my writing practice kind of divides itself into two broad steps. I always write longhand and in prose. That's always been my practice. That's kind of the generative stage of writing that is more in touch with unconscious processes, and that kind of just happens wherever, however, whenever. It's difficult to plan. It kind of is nonlinear and just, I guess you could call it the inspired part of the writing. So that's part one. And then the second part of the process is the formal part. So later I go mining in those pages and words and phrases will emerge from them. And as they present themselves, I usually find that they find their form as they start to assemble. So they'll tell me, I can discover where they need a breath or a space, or where they need a certain sound, or so the form kind of assembles itself as the words emerge from the writing that had come before. So I would say, if I was going to metaphorize the process, it's more like it would be more like collage than like drawing, or more like sculpture than like painting. The kind of chiseling and forming of material rather than generating into a form. But I so appreciate that question because it made me think about it, and I hadn't thought about it before in that way. Thank you, Matthew.
Miss Kwok, Yuna, what a cool answer. And thank you for this beautiful book.
Thank you.
Anyway,
I'm
what
so
a pleasure
honored.
to be here with you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Huge congratulations to Yuna. Thank you, Matthew. And I could not agree more with Yuna. Bookstores 100% have saved my life a few times. Uh, y'all are doing amazing work, and y'all give a lot of lonely people a home and a place to go to. So please keep doing that. And now for the Golden Poppy's newest category, children's nonfiction. Please welcome Grace Lane of Linden Tree Books in Los Altos to the digital stage.
Thank you so much, Rex, a former winner from last year. Um, Once again, we had a truly phenomenal mix of submissions, and my team and I are so grateful to everyone who is out there writing such wonderful books. My team this year was Elisa Edwards from Ruby's Books, Laura Lee Sugden from Linden Tree, Angela King from Sausalito Books by the Bay, Drew Durham from Books Inc., Amy Trauber from Pages, a Bookstore, and Wanda Connor from Banter Books. And our nominees are Forests by Nell Cross Beckerman and illustrated by Kaylin Chalk from Orchard Books. Jim, Six True Stories About One Great Artist, James Marshall by Gerald Connors from Dial Books. Love is Hard Work, The Art and Heart of Karita Kent by Dan Paley and illustrated by Victoria Tentler-Krylov from Candlewick. And Trans History, a graphic novel from ancient times to the present day by Alex L. Combs and Andrew Eckett from Candlewick. And the winner for children's nonfiction this year is Forests by Nell Cross Beckerman, illustrated by Kaylin Chalk, both of whom are with us tonight. And I am so excited to get to chat with you both about this book. This was such a fun book to read, obviously, for all of us, but I need you both to know that the entire committee loved this book so much. And every time we would be like, oh God, we have to make some hard decisions. Pretty much everyone on the committee was like, but we're not dropping Forests. Mm-mm. So thank you for the book and congratulations.
Thank you. That's amazing to hear. And we love our independent bookstores so much. Hello to everyone, and shout out especially to Pages, a bookstore, Village Well, and Children's Book World, who's been so supportive of me and all our books. And I'm so happy to hear that the committee loved Forrest so much, because I don't know how you made a choice. There's so much great children's nonfiction right now.
Sometimes it just comes down to the numbers. No, sometimes it just comes down to the numbers. So when I had to come up with a question for you guys, I did actually reach out to the committee. And the question that came back was kind of the same from everybody, which was basically, how did you guys come out with the layout of the book? Like, was that something the two of you worked on together? Was it something that, Nell, you had sort of always envisioned? Because The lyrical passages mixed with the facts are a really compelling way to do a nonfiction book. But then you have the art behind all of that, which just adds an extra level.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. I'm seeing my whole entire I've never won an award before. I just want to say that. And so my whole entire family I'm seeing in the chat, and it's like, this is a special moment for me, everyone. I just want to say that. But in terms of the layout, I normally, when I'm asked this question, I say, oh, I just, I think it looks cool that way, which is not very eloquent. And has anyone here familiar with the books of Joyce Sidman? She's a big mentor of mine. I love her books, and she also writes with poetry, facts, and art. And she once said, and I'm going to steal this from her, that when a book is laid out that way, there's something for everyone. The amazing art that Kaylin made is there for the visual kid. The poetry is there for the dreamy kid who loves how words sound. And the facts are there for the kid who wants to know information, which, factual information for kids is so very important right now, especially. But that's her answer, is that there's something for everyone when it's laid out like that. Kaylin, do you have anything to add for that?
Um, I think I think it was pretty collaborative, if I remember correctly. I think for me, I just try to take things that I did in animation. So a lot of that was just color and just figuring out, we kind of laid everything out, like every page, and kind of just rough color drawings to kind of see how each page could possibly, look. Because I think when we're making a forest book, it's really easy to have everything green. So kind of looking at, kind of being zoomed out and looking at every page as a whole and seeing where we could make changes, and I thought was pretty helpful and a very fun collaborative effort to what we created.
That's so awesome. I love to hear that. And again, thank you so much for this wonderful book. Cannot wait for everything else coming from you guys. And congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Grace, and congratulations to Nell and Kaylin. These books are all so amazing. The next two awards are both juried prizes selected by committee members that celebrate diversity in our state's rich cultural heritage. The Martin Cruz Smith Award for Emerging Diverse Voices seeks to recognize a debut or new author with a diverse perspective, which we all know is so important all the time, and especially right now. Please welcome Louisa Smith of Book Passage to share the finalists.
Thank you so much, CJ. It's really exciting to be here tonight. And first, I would like to thank my fellow committee members for the time and care that they put into this wonderful undertaking. Drew Howard from Books Inc., Ashley Marie Morelos Guerrero from Judging by the Cover, Harriet Moss from Books Inc., Melinda Powers from Bookshop Santa Cruz, and Sarah Stringer from Gamble House. I also want to thank all the publishers who submitted this year. We had a lot of fun reading all of your books. And the Martin Cruz Smith Award finalists are, I do it out of order from the slide, sorry guys. Girls, Girls, Girls by Shoshana von Blankensee, Birds at Night by E.B. Liebenberg, The Cost of Being Undocumented by Alex Stix and Antero Garcia, Too Soon by Betty Shamia, Black California Gold by Wendy M. Thompson, and the Martin Cruz Smith Award for Emerging Diverse Voices is given to Shamia. Whoops, sorry, I went too fast, for her amazing debut novel, Too Soon. Congratulations, Betty.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you can see me, but I am so grateful to you tonight, as actually the release of my paperback, and I was just at Bird and Beckett. So this is, I cannot tell you how much this award means to you. It means I can't even talk. At Booksellers, you are hello. You see me? No,
we can't see you, Betty. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, but
oh, there you go. We can see you
okay.
now.
All right. Thank you. I'm so grateful to the Booksellers. You are superheroes to me. This is actually the first award I've gotten for work of mine. I've gotten awards to, like, be a Guggenheim Fellow and those kinds of things, but this is probably one of the best nights of my life. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
I love that. No awards, just the Guggenheim Fellow. Just that old thing. We have one question for you, Betty, for tonight.
Oh.
And it is, having written 16 plays, you're no stranger to telling powerful stories on the page. What is it about this specific story, centered around 3 generations of Palestinian American women, that compelled you to tell it as your first novel rather than as another play?
I think it was becoming a mother, and moving back to the Bay Area and kind of haunting the old libraries and independent bookshops that I had done as a child. And I discovered works like, House of Spirits and Amy Tan's work and Alice Walker's work. And I realized that, not everybody can live in Manhattan and pay $90 and get childcare. And I wanted to create a work that I felt could reach people like who I was when I still lived in Daly City. So that's what, compelled me to write this book in this way.
Oh, congratulations again. I love that answer. That was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
And back to you, Rex.
Hi. Congratulations, Betty. And thank you, Lisa. Louisa, sorry, talking too fast. I'm just excited to be here. Next up, the Mirrors and Windows Award for Excellence in Children's Literature. The concept of children's books as windows and mirrors was coined by Dr. Rudine Sims Bishop's phrase, windows, mirrors, and sliding glass doors. It's simple. It's that children's literature should contain diverse characters and experiences such that all children can have mirrors, as in representations of their own experiences and identities, and windows, exposure to people with experiences and identities that differ from theirs. Each year, the Mirrors and Windows Committee of the Golden Poppy Book Award selects a title created by a California author and/or illustrator that best reflects and shares diversity in its many forms. Please welcome Grace Lane back to the stage to read off our finalists.
So you're welcome, or I'm sorry for my booksellers, everyone. I just caught up on that chat. So once again, and I think it was, I can't remember who it was in the chat now who said the publishers gave us a veritable feast this year, and that is the truth. I know I said it about children's nonfiction, but it was also true for Mirrors and Windows, that we had so many amazing books to choose from, and getting this list down to 5 was down to the wire and incredibly, incredibly difficult. So, first of all, huge thank you to my crew, Belle McNeil from Rakestraw, Raquel Espana from Peninsula, Summer Laurie from Books Inc., Erin Rivera from Frugal Frigate, Susan Peck from Banter Bookshop, and Sharon Levin from Reach and Teach. We could not have done this without every single one of us on that committee. So, without further ado, the 5 finalists that we cried a lot over: Almost Sunset by Wahab Algarmi from Harper Alley, The History of We by Nicholas Smith from Coquila, Popo the Cholo by Paloma Angelina Lopez and illustrated by Abraham Matias from Charles Bridge, The Queen Bees of Tybee County by Kyle Casey Chu from Quill Tree Books, and A Very Asian Guide to Taiwanese Food by Nancy Jiang and illustrated by Felicia Liang from Glue Books. And the Mirrors and Windows Award for Excellence in Children's Literature goes to Popo the Cholo by Paloma Angelina Lopez and illustrated by Abraham Matias. Congratulations, you guys. Once again, both of them are on the call. Yes.
Yay! Thank
you
y'all
so
so
much.
much.
So there were several of us, I have to say, on the committee who, from the second we read, by the way, our Linden Trees copy is sold out, so I had to check this out from my library so I could reread it this week. But because I already gave my copy to my nephew, who loves it. He won't let it go. But the several members on the committee, we were like, it's gonna be Popo the Cholo. Like, from the time we got the book. We were like, it's going to be that one. And that kind of stuck with a bunch of us, and it just sort of kept staying on the list. And we love this book so much. You guys are the best.
Thanks, y'all. Thank you so much. And as someone who is coming to y'all from Oklahoma right now, but like born and mostly raised in California, I'm so excited to be here, y'all. I'm like, I miss everyone. I miss everyone talking about my San Diego and all the places that I lived and haunted. I'm like, thanks, y'all.
I love that you're from here. I did not realize that. I knew you were in Oklahoma now, but that's awesome. And Abraham, you're in SoCal too, right?
I am, yeah, I'm in Los Angeles. So of course I had to tune in and be here. What a pleasure and what an honor. Thank you for the committee and everybody and all the booksellers. You are heroes and I'm just so happy to be here.
So, one of the things that we really loved about the book is literally how the art and the story work together, especially as you're like traveling through the stages of Mictlan and sort of seeing at the end of how she's like looking in her family. And of course, like Popo is the most excellent dog, and we love a most excellent dog. So like really, you guys, how closely did you work together and like build this together? Because if you didn't, that's insane. And you're both way more talented than I would have guessed. And I already would have been like, Abraham's like the best illustrator that I have seen this year. So, like, that's not true. Everybody's amazing. I mean, like, I've already told Kaylin how much I love his too. So, whatever, you guys are all talented, but you know what I mean.
Um, I really not much at all, Abraham. Like I will say like this is my debut book, so I am still learning. There has been a huge learning curve for me. But I was shocked learning that like I wouldn't really get to collaborate a lot with Abraham. And so I think it was what, like the week before publishing, I was like, can we get on a Zoom meeting and just like, I want to look you in the eyes and say thank you because who knows what's going to happen from this point on. And that's what we did. And that was like, maybe we said hello via email once or twice, but Abraham really like, I don't know, he was reading, he got in my head somehow. He just knew. So yeah.
That's
Yeah, no,
wild.
we did not really had much communication throughout the entire process, but I mean Paloma's manuscript was just so evocative that first time reading it, it just conjured up so many images that what you see in the book is actually what came up on my head when I was reading it the first time. So it's just a testament to the beautiful manuscript that she wrote. And when we talked after the book was published and we set up that call and we realized that some of the ideas that she had in her head, it's actually were like matching up. We were in the same wavelength about color and texture, and that was really special to be connected somehow without talking. We were just in the same wavelength, and that was just super special.
Well, I it really came through, and that is phenomenal. I like as a bookseller, I'm so happy to have this book for kids, and thank you both so much for all the work that you put into it.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
So
Thank you
grateful.
so
Thank you.
much.
Oh, look at them. So modest. 3 days ago, that book won the Pure Belpré Award. So a huge congratulations to Paloma and Abraham. Thank you, Grace. Oh my God, you'll have to follow these kids on Instagram because the way Abraham makes this art, it's crazy. It's with puppets. I'm serious. Check it out. Now for the romance category. Please welcome Claire Bone of Wild Sisters Book Company as she reads off the finalists. Hi, Claire.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. I am going to talk about our committee members for a second. We had Lori as our one of our chairs. She's been the chair of the Golden Poppies for several years. She's so wonderful. Oh, I guess my video isn't doing. Start my video. So sorry, guys. Um, She's been so wonderful. She's so great at the Golden Poppies that it's taking two people to replace her. So I just want to take a minute and say thanks again to Summer for all her leadership. But we also had a wonderful committee with Amanda Bareilles from Vromans, Jenny Marasciato from Mysterious Galaxy, Vanessa Brennan from Book Passage, Robin Broderick from The Reading Bug, Lisa Brecker from Pages, a Bookstore, and then Grace Henriquez from Wild Sisters Book Company. So I'm thrilled to have been able to work with them, and I am going to share the finalists. So the first finalist, If Not for My Baby, by Kate Golden from Berkeley. Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt, St. Martin's Griffin. No Ordinary Love by Maya Ariel from Berkeley. Nothing to Write Home About by Becca Aaron Title, retitled, and Run Away With Me by Brian Selznick from Scholastic Press. So the Golden Poppy Award for romance goes to Run Away With Me by Brian Selznick. So I'm so excited about this one. This was a big favorite within the group. And as you know, it's run a whole bunch of things. When you sat down to write Run Away With Me, were you planning on writing a romance? Did it kind of run away with you? Tell us a little bit about what happened and how Run Away With Me came about.
I just want to thank you, Claire, and the whole committee. I think I'm not the only person who was particularly surprised by its award and really thrilled. So yes, it was intended from the beginning to be a romance. And it started during the pandemic. My husband won something called the Rome Prize at the beginning of the pandemic, and we got to move to Rome for 9 months in January of 2020. And the streets were empty, and it was so strange and haunting and mysterious. And it's how the book opens, with these empty streets that I drew. And a Roman friend of mine said that the strangest thing about the pandemic is walking through the empty city and not seeing people kissing on the streets. And I knew I wanted to set a book in Rome while I was living there. And I just began to picture these two boys kissing on the street. But I didn't know who they were, but that's sort of how I write, is I have to, and maybe a lot of us do this, I have an idea and then I have to answer all the questions. And that's what writing is. But I knew it was going to be a romance. So I went to the Rip Bodice, the great romance bookstore, to do some research. Because really all I knew about the genre of romance books was that they had to have a happily ever after. And recently someone said to me that nothing has a happily ever after. All there are new opportunities. And
Oh,
I
I like
thought
that.
that's very profound and moving. And I think I believe that,
Yeah.
except I need to write a romance. So
Yeah.
I went to someone who worked at the store and I said, I know about the happily ever after, but my book's about teenagers. And I don't know if it's the right thing to tell teenagers that they should be with the person they're with right now for the rest of their lives.
Mhm.
And the person at the bookstore said, well, there's something also called the happily ever after for now.
Yes.
And I thought, that is extremely beautiful. And maybe that's like the most any of us can really actually ask for, is to have a happily ever for after for now. I was like,
Yeah.
I will take that.
Yeah, and I will tell you, as romance readers and a romance committee, there was much debate on is happily ever for now allowed in romance when it's happily ever after. So we're extra thrilled to see you get this award, and it was just such a fun time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Claire, and congratulations again, Brian. That is so awesome. Next up, we have the Octavia E. Butler Award for Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror. Woo! This award honors the Pasadena-born author whose keen writing has coined her as the mother of Afrofuturism. We love her. These genres are so unique, but there is one thing in common between science fiction, fantasy, and horror, which of course is my favorite. These stories allow us to view our world through another lens. I would like to introduce Susan Peck of Banter Bookshop to share our finalists.
Thank you, CJ. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to acknowledge my fellow committee members who volunteered their time to read and discuss many, many pages over the last year. They are Arden Harris of A Seat at the Table Books, Gabriel De Leon of Bloodstone Books, Joy Puente of Diesel, a bookstore, Lee Spangler of Napa Book Mine, Leo Lucan of Pages, a bookstore, and Senna Corrales of Town Center Books. The 5 finalists we chose are Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz from Tor.com, Kill the Beast by Sarah Swift, also Tor Books, The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillick from Orbit, Notes from a Regicide by Isaac Fellman, Tor Books, Red City by Marie Lu, also Tor Books. Seems like a theme there. And the 2025 Octavia E. Butler Award for Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror goes to Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz. Congratulations, Annalee.
Thank you so much.
So I really enjoyed your book. It was just delightful. I don't know if that was the real intention behind it, but it was just such a breath of fresh air and really enjoyed it. So if I can channel my English lit teacher from high school for a moment, I have a question for you. Well, Automatic Noodle was born out of your love for noodles and robots. What a great combination. It feels more universal, as if the characters could represent any marginalized group struggling to move forward and building a community on their own terms in the process. Was this metaphor intentional, or did it happen organically from your original thesis? And as a writer, are you ever caught off guard by extra layers that your readers find in your finished work?
That's a great question. And I wanted to just start by saying thank you so much to all the indie booksellers who made this book get into the hands of so many people. This is a book about people opening an independent noodle shop in California. So it's very much about trying to make it, as a small business in a really tough time. And so I'm glad that it found its way into people's hands who are actually dealing with that. And yes, the book was always intended to be, kind of a fable, really, about what it's like to be living in precarity in regards to citizenship. This is a story about what happens after California wins a war of independence against the United States. It's a new nation, and these robot characters are granted citizenship, but it's very precarious. It's not complete citizenship. It could be taken away at any time, and they're very aware of that. And I really wanted to capture that sense of fear that a lot of us have who've been marginalized, immigrants or people who are LGBT, lots of other groups too, where our citizenship is constantly being challenged. And if we don't, toe the line under certain political, in certain political circumstances, our home can be taken away from us. And so I really wanted to capture that, but also the way that communities come together and protect each other in times of precarity and find ways of coming together. And so I really, really wanted that to come across as well, of course, as the noodles. And I think the one thing that surprised me that people have found in the book is I've gotten some people saying that they think it's like an AI booster book because it's about robots. And actually that's the one thing that it's not about. It's really not about AI being awesome. That's really couldn't be further from my feeling. So that was the one surprising thing. But overall, I think people have gotten the message that they should go out and eat some byang noodles and support local businesses.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Susan, and congratulations, Annalee. I think there's probably nothing better than community and noodles. So I'm feeling very optimistic right now. Next up, we have the Glenn Goldman Award for Cookbooks and California Lifestyle. It's a tribute to longtime bookstore owner and friend Glenn Goldman. Goldman was the owner of the iconic bookstore Book Soup, which he founded in 1975 on Sunset Boulevard. As an aside, I also give a shout to that bookstore in my first book. Jeff Resnick of Pages, a bookstore in Manhattan Beach, will first share CALIBA's finalist for Glenn Goldman California Lifestyle, and then the finalists for cookbooks.
Thank you so much. First up, I'd love to tell you who our Glenn Goldman committee members were. We had Stacy Gould from Ruby's Books, Adrian Newell from Warwick's, Lillian Van Clev from the Best Bookstore in San Francisco, Susan Tunis from Bookshop West Portal, Amanda Barrias from Vroman's, myself, and I'm from Pages, a bookstore, Katie Smith Cook from Copperfields in Healdsburg, and finally John Evans from Camino Books. Now, our nominees for the Glenn Goldman Lifestyle Award are Cruising J-Town, Japanese American Car Culture in Los Angeles by Oliver Wong, and that's by Angel City Press. Then we had The Enduring Wild, A Journey into California's Public Lands by Josh Jackson. And then we have The Grateful Dead by Jim Marshall, Photos and Stories from the Formative Years, 1966 to 1977. And that's by Jim Marshall, Amelia Davis, and David Gons, with Afterward by John Mayer, and that's by Chronicle Books. Ole Lumberg, An Architecture of Craft by Ole Lumberg, and that's from Princeton Architectural Press. And then we have Richard Misrak, Cargo, photographs by Richard Misrak, text by Rebecca Solnit, and designed by Masumi Shibata, and that's from Aperture. And the Glenn Goldman Award for California Lifestyle goes to, it's actually a tie. Cruising J-Town, Japanese American Car Culture in Los Angeles by Oliver Wong, and The Enduring Wilds, A Journey into California's Public Lands by Josh Jackson. Congratulations to both of you two. So well earned. Now, I'd love to ask a question to you, Oliver.
Yeah, please.
Your book is absolutely beautiful. Can you share your inspiration for its creation and specifically why you decided to write about Japanese American car culture?
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I just want to thank all the booksellers for their support, especially Vroman's, which has been my neighborhood bookstore ever since I was a teenager growing up in the San Gabriel Valley. Big thanks to the Japanese American National Museum and their staff, and of course, everyone at Angel City Books. And most importantly, the roughly 100 or so community members who sat down with me and the museum team to allow us to record their oral history stories, which made the book possible. Now, to answer your question, the simple answer is because no one had done it before. And as someone, I'm not a car person, which is kind of the irony, but I've been well aware ever since I was growing up in LA in the 1980s that Asian Americans and cars, this has been a relationship that has existed for generations. And yet it took until this book coming out for someone to write a book about Asian Americans and car culture. And I think the fact that it just hadn't existed before was the biggest motivation to do it, is because I just felt like someone needed to do it. And I had the opportunity to do so.
I'm so glad that you did.
Thank you.
And again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now for Josh. I loved your book. Your combination of adventure, nature writing, and conservation themes show off the absolute best of California. But with all the different directions that you can go for this book, how did you finally come to this particular path?
Thank you so much. When you're in the deep underground layer of writing a book, you just cannot imagine one day that there'll be a award at the end of it. So I'm just very grateful. Vroman's is my home bookstore too. I get a $50 gift card every year from my parents at Christmas time, and really value those 3 hours I get just roaming the bookstore looking for something special. Yeah, thank you. You can't really fall in love with these places without also confronting how fragile they are. And so the book kind of became a way of paying attention, of slowing down enough to let the land tell its story. So not just as scenery, but as, something shaped by history and by humans. And so the path, I took felt like the only honest way to honor that, which was to write from experience, but also to write from affection and from this belief that, storytelling can be an act of stewardship.
So well said and so well done.
Thank
Again,
you.
congratulations to both of you. These books are absolutely amazing. Now I
Thank
have the
you.
pleasure of also talking about the Glenn Goldman Award for Cooking, which is one of my personal passions. Here are our nominees. We've got Cook Like a King, Recipes from My California Chinese Kitchen by Melissa King with JJ Goody. And then we have Feasts on the Farm, over 60 seasonal recipes and stories of sustainable farming from Tamales Farmstead Creamery. And that's by Tamara Jo Hicks and Jessica Lynn McLeod, and that's from Chronicle Books. Then we have The Korean Vegan, homemade recipes and stories from my kitchen by Joanne Lee Molinaro, and that's from Avery. And then we have On Meat, modern recipes for the home kitchen, and that's by Jeremy Fox, Rachel Sheridan, and a contribution by Paul Bertoli, and that's from Fiden Press. And finally, we have Seasons of the Grains, a collection of new recipes from the iconic San Francisco restaurant by Katie Riker, and that's from Weldon Owen. And the Glenn Goldman Award for Cooking goes to, go ahead there, The Korean Vegan, Homemade Recipes from My Kitchen by Joanne Lee Molinaro. This book is absolutely fantastic, and congratulations, Joanne. I loved it. Um, I'm personally a vegetarian, and I love both of your books, but I do often find myself cooking for non-vegetarians, and I'm curious if you have a favorite dish in this book that you like to cook for those omnivores out there, and if so, why do you like that dish?
Well, thanks, Jeff, for the question and for the lovely intro. In answer to your question, I would say the dish that I would turn to is my kimchi mac and cheese. I made this for my very non-vegan dog walker many years ago, and he simply could not believe that there was no dairy in it. He just wouldn't believe me. And not only that, it really perfectly marries my identity, which is Korean American. I put kimchi in just about every savory dish known to man. But I also love mac and cheese, which of course is a throwback to many American households. So I would go with that. I would also want to add, in addition to answering your question, how immensely grateful I am to independent booksellers, including the team at Pages, as well as Now Serving LA, which are the two bookstores that I've worked so much with here in LA since moving here. And specifically, I would love to call out all of the indie bookstores who have created an incredibly safe space, not just for readers, but for their communities and their neighborhoods. It's one of the real safe harbors that I have found in the past several weeks and months. And I just think that your courage and bravery should not go overlooked.
So well said. So well said. And again, congratulations on your book. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Mhm.
All right, folks. Thank you, Jeff, and congratulations to Oliver, Josh, and Joanne, and to all of our winners tonight. Me and Princess Donut from Dungeon Crawler Carl. Just want to thank you for letting us moderate tonight. This has been the 2025 Golden Poppy Awards. Thank you.
It's been wonderful getting to be your MCs tonight. Thank you for having us here. And I think as all of these authors and a lot of the booksellers here have reiterated too, indie bookstores are so important now more than ever. All of you booksellers are actual superheroes on this planet. Thank you for everything you do. And Hannah, I'll let you take the stage again for your concluding remarks and announcements. Congrats, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much, CJ and Rex. You did a fantastic job. I'm sure we'll have you back sometime soon, if not as finalists or winners, then as MCs. So thank you so much for tonight. And congratulations to all of our Golden Poppy Award winners and finalists. You can view all finalists on our website, linked in the chat, and we'll be adding our winners tomorrow. Before we end the night, we have a few more things to share. First, we'd like to announce our winner for the Best Golden Poppy Award display, Moonstone and Miss Bookshop in Redondo Beach, California. We'll be in touch regarding your prize. Thank you for putting that beautiful display together and celebrating our finalists. Next, I want to remind our booksellers that you can order free Golden Poppy Award winner stickers to put on all finalist and now winner books and bookmarks to give out in store. You can also download posters and shelf talkers through CALIBA's website or in the link in the chat. And don't forget the Golden Poppy merch you can resell in your stores. These items are vinyl stickers and enamel pins featuring the beautiful Golden Poppy art created for us by best-selling author and illustrator Obi Kaufman, and any proceeds that CALIBA makes goes towards our Glenn Goldman Fund that sends one bookseller from CALIBA to the National Trade Show Winter Institute each year. I also want to give a big thank you yet again to Summer Laurie and our hardworking committee members, and to my amazing team, Valentina Moberg and Alicia Reddick, who worked hard behind the scenes to get us all here tonight. Before we go, we have one final announcement. As amazing as tonight was, I am excited to say that this will be our last virtual Golden Poppy Awards ceremony. Our 2026 Golden Poppy Awards will be announced in person at the CALIBA Fall Fest Trade Show in San Diego on September 15th. We look forward to celebrating more California authors and creators in person moving forward. For any publishers and authors out there, our 2026 Golden Poppy Award submissions are open. We can't wait to see what you have for us all, what you all have for us this year and moving forward. Thank you, everyone, and good night. Have a wonderful evening.